Hello and welcome. It's the newspaper review here on Tap TV. My name is Williams Abule, and I'm very excited to have you join me here on the program on Tap TV. And with me this morning is Mr. Victor Sioku, our current affairs analyst. You're welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, we missed you yesterday on the program, but good to think you're back. Good to think you're back here. And to our viewers too, we're really happy to have you join us here. If this is the first time you're seeing this video, well, we'll be bringing you the headlines across newspapers shortly. But do well to also be a part of it by dropping your comments and your reactions on the comment section, because we really love to hear what you think about these headlines. All right, without wasting much time, let's go into the headlines, and we'll begin today's headline reading from Vanguard newspaper for 14th of October 2022. And on Vanguard, we see as a headline here, it says AK-47, Autumn gives federal government 1 month ultimatum. All right, we also see right under that, it says Asuu raises alarm over alleged APC pressure on INEC. That story you'll find on page 8 of the Vanguard. Also, we see here, it says APC can't revive economy, address insecurity. Obi speaking. And moving downwards, it says CBN restricts foreign banks from banking businesses. That story you find on page 19 of the Vanguard newspaper. As the major headline here on the Vanguard, it says court frees Kanu of terrorism charges, orders release its landmark judgment or Haneze. IPOB happy over Acquitted. Kanu's discharge, triumph of light over darkness. Masop speaking there. So details of all that you find on page 11 of the Vanguard. Right, moving on to other headlines on the Vanguard, we see here Nigeria hasn't requested debt restructuring. World Bank boss notes Nigeria in concerning situation because of subsidy. Asks federal government to interact with creditors on its debts. Nigeria's public debt up by 253% in 7 years. All right, we also see here on the Vanguard, it says ex-BB Naija housemate Rico Suave dies after auto crash. Yeah, and you find details of that story on page 7 of the Vanguard. Well, there are many other stories here on the Vanguard, but do well to pick up a copy to, find out what the stories are. But for now, I'm going to just put a pause on the headlines right there for the Vanguard. All right, Mr. Victor. Well, I will ask you to deal with any of the headlines I've read out to you. But before you go into that, I must mention the death of the ex-BB Naija housemate. It was a very sad one. Yesterday when the news broke, I was really, really sad. I don't know him personally, but just the short time in the house with us, I feel he's a great guy. He has not been in public domain for many times, but personally, I just have this connection with him, and when that happened, it really broke me. I felt really unhappy, and he's quite young too, 29, and he had to die the way he did. I mean, nobody's above death, but it was a very sad one. Well, so I will leave you to deal with any other story on the Vanguard that you wish to.
Okay, so just like you said, Rico Suave, that's a great guy. Okay, yeah, I'm not really into the BBN thing, but watching him back in those days, having a glimpse of him, he was just a chill guy. Yeah. A cool-headed human that had some skills that he wanted to just push out and express. Unfortunately, he died. He just died, and some are saying that that it was through drink driving. Okay, we cannot ascertain to that. But, it also goes out to our viewers out there. This is the weekend, not just the weekend. We are heading towards the end of the year, and the end of the year comes with a whole lot of excitement. Whether you get money, you don't get money. They say in Aba, meaning that whether you've made money or you've not made money, you must move. You must make those moves. You must go home. You must feel the season.
Very true.
So please, while we are driving, while we are celebrating, please
think safety first.
Think safety.
You need to, because the man when they are alive go chop money, my dear. So no matter how you hustle, you need to first of all be alive to be able to enjoy your hustle. So please just tone it down, take it easy, one step at a time. As far as there's life, a living dog is better than a dead lion. So you must have that in mind.
So that's that. And yeah, yesterday came with so much news.
Yeah, towards the end of yesterday, towards the evening period, so many things happened within trickling of an eye. Nnamdi Kanu was released.
Crazy things have happened, my brother.
Nnamdi Kanu was released. That was, for me, that was like one of the biggest news that broke yesterday. So
then what about River State?
Oh.
What's happening? I don't think we have it.
We don't have it here. Yeah.
The Rivers matter that
yeah.
has increased a lot of
special advisors to over 60 now. Over 60.
Did you say 60?
Yes, over 60.
Oh, you've not heard about 40,000.
No, he has increased them to 60-something thousand now.
Okay, I
yes.
thought it was okay.
No, not 40. 40 was the number as of yesterday. Is it a day before?
Okay.
Then as of yesterday, it has increased to 60-something now. So right now we have over 60 special advisors, political advisors, and special advisors here in River State. Over 60,000.
So
I need to add the 1,000.
Are they volunteers or are they going to be paid?
I don't know what the government of River State is trying to achieve. Wow. Could it be that Governor Wike is trying to finally put it out there that I made a promise of employing thousands of Rivers indigents, and today I have fulfilled that, because after this nobody will be able to say, okay, you did not do anything for us. He has touched River State infrastructurally, he has touched River State in many ways, and now it is now down to human capital, development, yes. And you can see that already happening by the employment of these advisors all over the state. I mean, there are so much that you hardly will have a circle that you don't have one person in there that is one of the advisors. It's an interesting one, and I'm wondering what he's up to though.
Then let's not also forget the man, bro, there is a lot to talk about. What about the 5 million naira cap? That if you want to go and
use any facility, you pay that as a caution fee.
Pay 5 million as a caution fee, and you must lodge in your application 2 weeks before the time.
Yeah, and wait for approval. So sometimes it might be approved, some other times it might not be. So the 5 million naira, well, I don't know. That's a very huge sum, and that's going to really make some people unable to use these facilities. We're going to kind of like restrict them. But I don't.
The small parties.
Yes.
For me, I'm not even looking at the
big guys, yeah,
and the labor.
Yeah.
What about PRP? What about ADC? What about YPP? How can they raise such funds?
And then they say it's a caution fee, so it's meant to be refunded after you didn't damage any property in that facility. But then we know how these things are. Once those money it's government money, for Christ's sake. Once they enter into government coffers, for you to get it back. So all of those things is why a lot of people are complaining. And recently I also heard in some news around the city of a certain school in Eleme that was meant to be used by one political party like that, and it is causing a lot of wahala. And there's been cry for the police commissioner to look into that matter on time before it escalates. So you see, this is what we might be seeing going further into the general elections in a state like River State that has decided to put such order to kind of like, they say they want to regulate the use of government facilities. They have spent a lot of money building these things, restructuring them, and they don't want people to damage them in the name of campaigns. But while we see some sense from the government angle, I just feel it's a bit overboard, and they should look into it again. That's how I say it though. Yeah. So I wanted to ask you about Nnamdi Kanu. I mean, that was the biggest news for me yesterday when he said he has been released. First, we saw some reports that said, discharged and acquitted. And then later we heard the news of it being discharged, but not yet acquitted. So in some way, the charges against him has been dropped, or they have won the case and they've dropped those charges, but they are still waiting for federal government's appeal at the Supreme Court, sorry. And so that is now causing Nnamdi Kanu to be somewhat free, but not entirely free. What's your take?
Okay, the case went from the federal high court, down to the appeal court. So they appealed the 7 counts charge, including terrorism. Okay, and the appellate court, in its wisdom, had to struck out the case, saying that the process of, in quote, extraditing him.
Yeah, from Kenya.
Which they said no, that is rendition, not extraditing, that is rendition. But yeah, I mean the federal government said that it is rendition. But the appellate court has said it that see, the process used to bring him back home was not the right way. They did not follow due process. The international law, the extant law of the OAU, that they did not follow those procedures, and by so doing, they need to struck out the case. Reason, if you check, you cannot go into a process. You want fairness and equity, but you, the FG, you do not use the fairness and equity processes to bring this person to court. So they are saying this is null and void. But the question, like you just asked, will he be acquitted? Okay, that is not the question. Will they let him go? That is not the big question. With the federal government and the DSS, which beforehand has been disobeying court orders and judgments, will they be able to make it work this time around?
Yeah, speaking to some of, my friends and associates when this news broke, there has been the concern that Nnamdi Kanu spells doom for Nigerians, sort of like based on the fact that he has always pursued the freedom of Biafrans, and that is what brought about his arrest and, the case on him. And so now that he has been released, let's not forget that for months now, there's always been a sit-at-home order in the southeastern state where you don't even go to any of these Igbo states on Mondays. You'll be beaten up or probably, badly harassed. So now that he has been released, leading up to an election period, because this is just 3 months to the elections, and this man is now out, what will be, the atmosphere around his followers? Leading up to the elections, we've heard stories like he has passed an order that Biafrans should not get involved in Nigerian elections and all of that. Now that we have a leading figure like Peter Obi running for the elections, what do you think will be, the happenings? Could you just go over what you think would be happening about this time?
Mr. Bule, you're pushing me to the wall. But let me be explaining. This is my opinion.
Yeah,
okay,
of course.
But if you check out very well, most people supporting the Nnamdi Kanu have moved to the Labour Party.
Yeah, true.
Just like most people supporting the Oduduwa Kingdom, the Yoruba land, the Yoruba Kingdom, are tilting towards Tinubu.
True.
This is Nigeria. Let's face the fact.
So it's
I'm always saying this. Nigeria is divided by ethnic lines. There's tribalism everywhere. Okay, so if you check very well, you find out that. So for me, releasing him, yes, he might cause some kind of, I won't call it tension, some raising of dust. Okay, but many people have moved on. Many people have moved on.
It seems like that. Yeah. It feels like
people have moved on. If you come for a rally like that, in fact, the core Nnamdi Kanu followers, in quotes, they have been subdued to riffraffs. I'm sorry, but that is what is happening in the society we face. If you see anybody, go and check. Sorry, it is my opinion. But if you see anybody crying, Nnamdi Kanu, I'm sorry, when you go and check the person why am I saying I'm sorry? But from
this is what is there?
From it's outside there in our communities to see. People are not supporting him like before.
They have moved on.
They have moved on. The intellects, yes. The non-intellects might be against the intellect. From what I'm saying now, the intellects. If you now find out somebody screaming, go and check very well. The person might not be intelligent. I am sorry to say this, my brother, but please, people have their right of association.
Yeah.
If people want to support Nnamdi Kanu, let them support. I am not in the position to tell persons
what they want and what not.
In the political scheme of things, I cannot force people to say you are going to. Why are you not supporting people? Or why are you not supporting people?
True.
People have their preferences. Allow them to express their democratic rights.
Very true.
Okay,
very true.
But in peace and tranquility. You do not need to go and cause violence because you are supporting one person or the other.
Yeah.
So I think personally, releasing him, to me, it will not cause so much tension like 8 years ago. Right now, there is a candidate in P2B
Yeah.
that has meddled that things. Tensions have been dropped. There is hope for Southeasterners right now
Yeah.
than before.
In
That,
Peter Obi, yeah.
power will come to us. Let's face the fact that, okay?
Man, let's pursue it.
Yes, yes. Now going forward, you also ask. There is a whole lot of things to talk about this Nnamdi.
Yeah.
You now talk about, what about some elements? I'll call them elements, not positive or negative. Let me just call them elements. Some elements out there that also are feeding with this movement. Mind you, you have the MSN, you have the different freedom fighters, you have the man powerful by one side, you have a Simon Ekpa on the other side. People that are feeding with this, when they are gaining popularity, maybe they are getting money, just like Simon Ekpa. Maybe. Because if you go to his page, you find out that Simon Ekpa fundraising this, fundraising that, fundraising this, fundraising that. Okay, even that 2 days ago, fundraising for one reason or the other. And guy, see, for me, personally, I say, if somebody as tough, as rugged as Owazurike, for me, I'm not even seeing Nnamdi Kanu as a rugged person. As Owazurike, when I was much younger, Owazurike moved this Biafra thing to a very high extent that I never imagined that the powers that be can subdue him, that he is now mellowed down and a politician.
Wow.
So if that can happen to him, I'm sorry, that can also happen to Nnamdi Kanu. We are all Nigerians.
With all due respect, we've seen that happen in the past. We've had serious agitators from the south here that have come out to challenge the federal government and held them to their neck. But today, there are normal guys like me and you out there making their cool cash. They've been subdued, and somehow, you know, I don't want to mention names, but if you go in time past, you know the people I'm talking about.
I do not want to call them, but there are names on my head.
Yeah, they're
wearing the robe of human rights activists.
Yes.
But they have collected them. They've cashed out. That's the real thing. They've cashed out. They are now more like influencers and teachers.
Yeah.
They now go from one conference, collect money, goes to another conference.
Well, we're not saying that might be what Nnamdi Kanu will be doing next, but we're just saying that these are possibilities moving on, leading up to the elections, leading up to the fact that the federal government also does not want to release Nnamdi Kanu entirely. In the past, you've seen that they have also gone ahead to break a lot of laws to keep the man with them. And now that he has been discharged, they have also tried to find one loophole to say, okay, we have not acquitted him. So he's not entirely free. We're still going to go to the Supreme Court, and just maybe we'll have a headway there to keep him. So there are fears here and there leading up to the election, because Nigerians are very concerned about a peaceful election. They are hoping that for this one time, let it be peaceful and fair enough to vote their preferred, or not, I won't say is Nigerians' preferred candidate, but one of the most popular candidates, which is Peter Obi. They make it look, they feel that if the election is peaceful, they have a chance of clinging that for Peter Obi, while the other, veterans in the system should go and should be retired. So we're just watching how all of this play out. So these concerns are all over the place, but well, we are hoping that it doesn't cause any rancor about this time. It's a very critical time for a nation as Nigeria, and I believe that any concerned person, somebody that is concerned about Nigeria, including the people fighting for freedom, at this time is the time that they need to calm down. Because I don't know if my assertions are right, but I have a feeling that if Peter Obi makes it to office, and I'm saying that based on the fact that he's from the southeast here, or the east, there could be a chance for some kind of restructuring that might favor the agitators, the people that are looking for freedom and all of that. So all of that are on the table. So these are things to be considered while we move on to the elections. It's a very critical time. So we need to have a peaceful environment, or an enabling environment for that election to take place. All right, that's let's stop.
There's a lot in there, but let's just go.
Yes, there are other stories. There is a lot. There is a lot. But subsequently, we'll be going over these stories here on the review. Also, would love you to drop your comments.
I hold my peace.
Yes, you need to hold your peace for today. All right, please, for our viewers, I would love you to also drop your comments. And what do you think about the release of Nnamdi Kanu? A lot of people are beginning to show concerns as to, is this the right timing? We wanted him out from there because we feel that he's been held unjustly, but now that he's out at this election time, what's going on? Is this what will be his next plan and all of that? So please drop your comments. Let's see what you think about the release of Nnamdi Kanu. All right, we'll move on to our next paper, and that will be the Daily Sun for today, the 14th of October, 2022. All right, at the top part there on the Sun newspaper, it says, obedient movement like NSAS driven by desire for better Nigeria. Cardinal Okoje speaking, all right? That you will find on page 6 of the Daily Sun. Also, we see here, cholera death toll rises to 233, says NCDC. Oh, cholera is still out there, so please stay safe and look out for the children because these deaths usually occur amongst very young children. All right, as the major headline on Daily Sun, you see here, appeal court discharges, acquits Nnamdi Kanu, says extradition, detention unlawful. IPOB jubilate, says it will mark end of sit at home. Yeah, that story is on page 26.
That is one side of IPOB.
Yes.
Because person, sorry, I'm coming in now.
No, but it's true. No, it's very true.
Yeah, because persons like Simon Ekpa, that is in Finland, doing his fundraising. He's outside the country, so outside the shores of this country. He's in Finland and send them violence as far as I'm concerned. Because he's the one insisting. He's insisting from his own side that sit at home must occur and there will not be election in 2023. Even with the release of Nnamdi Kanu, he's still there screaming his voice out there that election will not hold in Southeast come 2023.
And so these are the kind of elements that we're saying Nigerians or people in that movement should really look inward and make the right decision as to what next should happen. And if you ask me, they should relax themselves and wait for their leader to speak to them before making decisions. I mean, if Mr. Simon Ekpa is making decisions as to, they are releasing Nnamdi Kanu and still saying, lockdown should carry on. You live in Finland, you're not in Nigeria, you don't know the pain here. You should come and stay here and feel the pain and go ahead and say, okay, the lockdown should continue. All right, so yes, we hope this brings an end to the sit-at-home order that, usually stall businesses in the Southeast. Southeast is like the hub of Nigeria's economy. More businesses happen here in the Southeast, places like Onitsha, Aba. These are places that are really powerhouses for businesses and our economy. So when they begin to stay at home for a whole day, you can imagine the billions of naira or dollars that is being lost in those days. So we just hope that it will really put an end to this as we move on to other things.
Let me cut you short too. I'm sorry. Today is Friday.
No, it's good.
Please, so I was at the airport, Abuja airport over the week, and I noticed something. Abuja is more like, Abuja is center of Nigeria. Yeah. So you believe that everybody should gather there, then disperse to different cities.
Yeah.
Now, do you know what? I noticed something. Throughout the calling out of announcement of flights, you just had, out of 10 flights that were mentioned, just only 2 were going to the north. The rest, 2 north, 1 Benin, the rest, Port Harcourt, Owerri, that the airport is not even, to me, it was not functional, but they had flights going to Owerri. And if not just like, you see the heap of presence traveling to that side, you see people going to Asaba, you see people going to Anambra, you see people going to Port Harcourt.
Yeah.
More like 80% of the number there, we are coming down to these zones. What does that spell for you? It spells that some parts of this country are not economically viable.
Yeah.
They are not working. Nothing is happening there. So that is why you see some persons out there, they are agitating, saying, see, we are running the economy. I'm sorry, I need to make this statement.
Very true.
Okay, we are running this economy. Please, you don't have to, you do not
treat
have
us
to
better.
Treat us as underdogs. Treat us as slaves in our own country. Okay? Well, remember Nigeria is a very complex nation. Remember we had Oputa panel. we've had different kinds of panel that has been trying to, in quote, restructure. And mind you, like some persons will come out and say, I want to restructure, as a presidential candidate, that come out and say, our 5-point agenda is restructuring. How do you want to do it yourself when you have the red chamber and the green chamber that must come together as one to push this goal forward? Look at what happened with the PIB.
Yeah.
PIB took more than 2 decades to be sorted out. And even they've released the bill, even the 3% they say they will.
It's still inactive, yes. You know, the matter is a long one. All right, we're going to go on with our headlines, but that will be after a short break. We need to take a short break. And when we come back, we'll continue with the headlines here on the Newspaper Review. You stay tuned. Now that you have registered for your PVC, it doesn't stop there. Ensure you pick up your PVC. Be alert. Join many Nigerians to vote credible leaders that will change the tide of this nation. Do not sell your vote. Remember, this is our future. Your vote is your voice.
This message is proudly brought to you by Thav Media Limited.
All right, welcome back from that break. All right, before we went on the break, we saw the headlines on this Daily Sun newspaper. And I'm sure we've not done entire justice to all the headlines, but of course, do well to pick up a copy of Daily Sun and read up the stories. So next, we'll be moving on to the Nation's newspaper for today, the 14th of October, 2022. And on the Nation's newspaper here, we see Asuu in all-night meeting over strike. Well, that will be, the result of that all-night meeting will be that the strike has been called off as of this morning. Yes, the strike has been called off by Asuu, and now students can now return back to the classes. We're going to come back to that story, but let's continue with the headlines on the Nation's newspaper here. We also see South commissions Okowa Diri to pacify Wike. South commissions Okowa Diri to pacify Wike. Find that story on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper. Other stories here, it is Sanwo-Olu signs MOU with Del York on Film City. Hearing in Osun governorship dispute begins October 26. Both stories are on page 4 of the Nation's newspaper. All right, moving downwards, as the major headline here on the Nation's newspaper, it says Omotekun Corps. Omotekun Corps, others can't tackle banditry, says El Rafai. I'll take that again. It says Omotekun Corps. Others can't tackle banditry, says El Rafai. It's simplistic way of fighting bandits. Autumn, our people have final say on kitting outfits with AK-47. All right. So find details of all of that on the Nation's newspaper. And one last story from the Nation's. It says here, appeal court ends Nnamdi Kanu's trial. Orders IPOB leaders release. All right. So that's all the papers, all the headlines I'll be taking on the Nation's newspaper. All right, Mr. Victor, let's talk Asuu. Well, their news also broke towards yesterday evening, late hours of yesterday evening, that the strike has been called off after 8 months of, the struggle with the federal government. And of course, the students that have been at home for almost more than half a year. It's been quite a battle. Do you think Asuu has won?
No. No. The industrial cut happened. Had it been the federal government didn't use that tactics, by now we should still be talking about the strike. What happened? The industrial cut happened. The judgments fell against them, and Asuu was told to step aside and call off the strike. But they went on to go and appeal. The appellate court then told them, before we listen to this matter, you need to first of all call off the strike. Then you now come. So that is what is happening. Yes, Professor Emmanuel Oshodoke, that's the Asuu president, has also come out to say, see, that he made some statement that I think might not be really necessary. But yeah, he went on to thank the presidency, also thank the House of Representatives, which you know that Right Honorable Femi Gbajabiamila has been on the matter.
They've intervened quite a lot.
So he now even said that, Prof, said that strikes go on almost everywhere in the world. Look at the UK. Every now and then there is trade strike. Look at the US. There is strike for different kinds of, they strike for different kinds of reasons. Okay, France, well, can't just mention them. I think it's too numerous to mention. Right?
Yeah.
So he said that some of these strikes, if you check the strike from the Western world, 2-3 days, 1 week thoughts, they've settled. But it's only in Nigeria that you will press, and nothing will happen.
Yeah.
8 months. Today is 14th of October. This strike started
Exactly.
14th of February. 8 months gone. Who are the losers? Not just Asuu, the students and their parents. Okay? Now, the strike has been suspended on a conditional of not unconditionally. Okay? Meaning that there are some things that have been resolved.
Yeah.
Okay? And they also want more. By today, we'll be getting the detailed circular that will go around. You know, this meeting, they had it in Abuja over the night, and the different chapters of Asuu came together, and they now, now they do this the way they should. They come do a vote and all that before they settle. So, but like I told you, they were held by the jugular due to the industrial court that was slammed, judgment that was slammed on them. So they just had to do this because they need to also follow the law. Okay? Because they've been threatened to be removed from the group of association, from union. So, and they did not want that to happen. Remember, just while doing that, they had already chipped in different two unions to destabilize them. That of the medical and that of the, when I say a faction of Asuu.
Yeah.
Okay, that have all come out to, they've been giving them certificates. So he was even saying, the prof was even saying, see, the labor union, as in the Ministry of Labor, the education ministry, that had it been they came together, that this strike wouldn't have lasted this long. But now they now took it on his head with the presidency for them to. But like I said, it is not yet to go. A whole lot of things will still happen.
Yeah.
Maybe just this is more like waiting for the D-Day, because the issues for me has not been resolved. 2009 agreement, that is the issue. If they don't take care of the agreement that you and I know, we entered the 2 agreements since 2009.
Implementation.
The agreement of 2009 is very old. We're talking about the new things that is happening with education in the world right now. The truth of the matter is that if they don't revitalize our education, our system right now,
very soon,
my brother,
our certificates will no longer be valuable out there. So that's what Asuu has been fighting for. So I don't know why government will give Asuu this kind of fight just to keep it in the old, style, or keep it, I don't know what the essence of the struggle with Asuu is. It's not like Asuu is fighting for their pocket. Okay, yes, for their well-being too, because for me, have you seen these lecturers? They deserve better. They deserve better. And if they're the ones imparting so much in the lives of our children, then, they deserve better. What else would they be imparting on the children if they're not getting anything? So, I don't know why the federal government had to, fight or go on an unresolved, unending back and forth with the Asuu up to this time, and going to the extent of forcing them back to the classes via the industrial court, via all the other, factional, unions that were also, I wonder what the plans of the federal government is for our education, because these guys are saying, man, we are backward. Have you checked our schools that we don't have foreigners from other countries coming to study here the way we go to their country? How can Nigerians be, surging to countries like Benin, Togo, all these small countries to go and study? What do they have there that we cannot give? So if that is what the Asuu has been struggling for, why would our government give them this kind of fight? You see the labor minister working out on them on various times in the name of, say, go back to class and continue in the old ways. When we are ready, we will answer you. When are they ever going to be ready? When we see the political class seem to be all about themselves, time in, time out. If there's any improvement in lifestyle, it starts from there. It doesn't ever start from people that need it. So for me, I don't know. I feel like the Asuu lost, yeah, more on the students. The students are the biggest losers, but they don't have control over that. Even though they are the biggest losers, it's not something that they have control over. Unfortunately, more like the yam and the knife was in the hand of the federal government, but they decided not to do anything about it. They just left Asuu to roll in the mud until now. It's very unfortunate, but it was a good fight. We hope that it yields fruits, maybe sometime really close in the future.
and going forward, sir, you find out that the ASU, they are also going to retain that their 8-month salary. They are going to pay them that money at the end of the day from what came out of the whole thing.
I hope they do.
No,
I hope they need to pay them because these
might not
guys,
just pay
they
them,
suffered
they'll pay
though.
them.
They suffered. If you ever have any lecturer around you, you will know that these guys, they suffered.
They will be paid. Unfortunately, they will be paid.
Some people sold their cars to keep up during these 8 months. Some people sold their cars. In fact, I know a few lecturers that we had to raise money for to keep up. So, you know, when it gets to that level, you know that these guys, they really want to sacrifice. They wanted to sacrifice a lot to get, you know, to the point where they can beat their chest and say, okay, yes, we have something on our hands. But unfortunately, I don't think they got there.
But lastly, I also think that even in the next 8 years that we're getting a new president, going forward, Nigeria cannot sustain this education, the cost of running education, especially the tertiary education. Let's focus on our primary and secondary education. The government can come in and support that, because for me,
those are very critical.
If you get a very standard, if a child gets standard education with respect to primary and secondary, the person is good to go. Okay. Then for tertiary is expensive. All these countries you see we are running down to, they invest so much in the tertiary and they get it back. It's more, you cannot be pushing trillions of naira at the end of the day. You're not getting something back out of your investment. Education is investment. So if the government cannot run it, private individuals should go and take those universities and run them very well. Because we cannot be paying for a 4-year course, like from federal universities, you pay 100,000 naira for 4 years. 25,000. Let's say even a maximum of 50,000 per session. Now with 200,000, you now get a degree in engineering, just only 200,000. My brother, check it out.
That
now.
degree.
It's not feasible, my brother. It will not work.
Very true.
It will not work. So from which money we then now equip their laboratories. They are studying computer science, but you don't have programs that you paid for. All the programs that you are using, I mean the softwares you are using on your computer are fake.
Absolutely, the old ones.
Unregistered applications and softwares. Are you getting me? So for you to most of our schools don't pay for Microsoft Word now. We use pirated copies.
Cracked ones.
We use pirated copies. Are you getting that? So for you to be up there, you need to spend money. For you to have those computers, those fast computers, and look at what dollar is doing to how naira is depreciating. For these schools to even get just one workstation, we might be talking about 2 million naira, fully registered with softwares. How many will they be able to buy? You are a computer science student, but you do not have softwares. All you are doing is you are doing Fortran on your mic.
Well, Mr. Victor, we have to put a pause there. Time is fast spent, but thank you so much for your very.
We've not talked anything about politics.
I'm telling you.
There's a whole lot happening.
No, there's a lot, and I'm sure that even before the end of the weekend, you know, a lot more will happen. We're just keeping our fingers crossed and we're watching. No, for today we need to stop here. I want to thank you, our viewers. Thank you very much, though, for your very in-depth analysis as always, and to our viewers, thank you so much too. Don't forget to drop your comments and your reactions. We want to see what you think about these discussions we've had today. Well, we'll be calling it quit here for today's program. But don't forget to join us next time when we come your way again, and that will be on Monday. So join us on Monday for the review here on Tap TV. My name is William Sabule, and it's been nice spending time with you. See you next time.